Hey, this is me, Marvin Lee of Everyday Marvin, and I just want to record a short video of myself. I just got off of my very first Airbnb stay. Overall, I really like it. I would recommend it to just about anyone. I kind of want to do like just kind of an initial reaction to it. There'll be a few tips I would kind of give, and then also there's a little few disappointments there, which wasn't so much the fault of Airbnb itself, but just the way things kind of worked out. Airbnb, I've been hearing about it for a while, and I was like, I'm always like the person, I think in my group of people that I know who's the first one to try a lot of things. So I just like the idea of kind of like, a bed and breakfast type situation, and just kind of like someone inviting you into their home. Definitely not the same as going to a hotel room or motel room, even though those can be really nice. It's something about being in like in a home-like environment that's just very reassuring, especially when you're away from home. I just like the whole idea, and so I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to give it a shot. I think I got a code for it, and I was like, I really want to try this out. One of the first things I did was I tried to do it around New Year's, and it probably was one of my biggest mistakes. And also I tried to do it kind of last minute, which I wouldn't recommend to pull an Airbnb or try to book Airbnb last minute. I tried it and I got multiple fails on that. So either people were already, and then also it was around a holiday when I did it, so it didn't help either. So people were either, not at their place, or they already had someone there, or, they just weren't doing it during the holidays. And so I'd recommend be very wary of your booking of when you do it. So watch out for holidays, watch out for last minute things, because if you plan on doing this like at spur of the moment, chances are it probably won't happen. And so you want to make sure that you try to book at least a day or two in advance, and not the day of or the evening of with Airbnb. That's the experience I've had. Also, make sure you go ahead and fill out your profile a good chunk as well. Verify as much information as you can. Now, they will give you an option to pay $20 for verification. You'll get like this little badge on your profile to basically verify to Airbnb and the people or different hosts that you are, that you're in good standing or whatnot. But honestly, I didn't do it because I kind of felt like I didn't really want to pay $20 if I haven't even really used the app yet. I want to like at least test it out first before I pay that. And so I didn't do it. What I did, which is basically, I think I confirmed my government ID, which is, to me, it was like my driver's license. And I think there was one or two other things I was able to confirm my phone number, and a few other things I knew I could do that wouldn't charge me anything. And so I went that route. Go ahead and fill out your profile too, so it's with as much information as you can give. So a little about yourself, like your interests, the reason why you use Airbnb, and maybe like a little fun fact about yourself or something like that, just to personalize it, and upload a picture or two of yourself, so that way when people or hosts are looking at you, they know, okay, this is a real person, and this is somebody that's likable, someone that would be eligible for me to host, that I really would actually want to host. And also I recommend that once you do get your first stay, try to have that person review you, so that way in the future when people go look at your profile, they'll be like, okay, he's already been reviewed by so-and-so or so-and-so, so I will go ahead and let him stay. So in my case, I tried to book with several different people. A lot of times, the first couple of times, it was the last minute, and so that's why I got denied on quite a few of those. They do offer you some options where you can actually go instant booking, where you can actually just go ahead of the host, because in a lot of situations what they'll do for you is they'll basically have kind of a setup or system set up. So you see the place you want to stay at, right? And then it'll allow you to go ahead and see if that place is available during the time you want to. So you just pick out a date, between this time and this time you want to be there. And then you can message the host and ask them, just make sure the accommodations actually are available. And then in some cases, they'll go ahead and once they get a message from you and they see that you're interested, they'll go ahead and just pre-approve you, or they'll respond to your message and say, okay, cool, you can go ahead and confirm your booking or whatnot. And then sometimes you can just instantly book without even having to talk to the host. But a lot of times you'll end up having to send at least a message to them saying, the reason why you're coming in town, why you need a place to stay, which doesn't take, but a few seconds to do anyway. There was this one place I wanted to stay that looked really, really nice. And the first time I tried to apply for it, it was like last minute. They weren't even in town to do it. And so I was like, okay. And then the second time I tried to do it, I saw I sent them a message, and then I kind of realized they had an option where I can go ahead and just auto book. And so I went ahead and booked, and then after the fact I realized they still weren't available. And actually it was a little odd for me when they actually sent me a message about why they weren't available to host me. But that was just one weird situation that I had. Most of the time they're gonna say, they just aren't able to, or that they are able to, just every now and then, no matter what app you use, there's always going to be a situation where things are going to get a little off or a little odd because of communication, and you don't really know the person that well. So there's always a chance there for miscommunication or a misunderstanding to come up. My recommendation for that is that if you run into a situation like that, be polite and try to see it from the other person's point of view. Since you're not working with each other or anything like that, just leave it alone. Listen to the person's reason and then say, okay, cool, that's the reason why you feel like that. I understand. I'm going to go ahead and leave you alone and move on to my next prospect. And so that's what I did. So fortunately, I was able to book with other person who had an interest in looking rooms. Like, okay, cool. And a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but not too much more. So I went ahead and paid for it. And so I messaged them. I told them, hey, this is the time I was looking to stay. And then they were like, hey, cool. They pre-approved me. And then I went and submit and I confirmed my booking. And then I was set. And so when it puts it on your little My Trips part of your profile so that we know you got a trip coming up. I went there. It was in town because I wanted to test it out in town first before I try to use Airbnb away from home. So it was in town. In my situation, when I booked it at this particular place, it had no one else there. It just was me for that evening, even though it could have held, I think, one more person or two could have been there while I was there. But in my case, it was the weekend I booked, no one else was there, so I was very fortunate in that case. So I basically got the whole place to myself while the host was away or out of town, wherever they were. And they were able to respond to any questions I had via the app. Airbnb has a little message thing on their app that you can message people with or whatever. So I used it to ask any questions that I had, and I had a good stay. It was nice to get away because currently I'm in a roommate situation where I have roommates that I live with. And sometimes you just want to get away, and just kind of have your own space, especially when you're used to living by yourself and, you haven't really had that just yourself time. It was just nice to be able to get away from a place entirely to myself. I had cable, I had, use of the kitchen, I had a nice bedroom, nice bathroom, closet. There was, refrigerator, microwave, sink, and, I had basically someone's whole house for almost 24 hours, It only cost me, in this case, I think they wanted $35 a night, but after the whole service fee, I believe it ended up being $39, which honestly, I would have paid about the same at a cheap hotel. So it worked out about the same, except this way I got to be in a place that was like a home setting and really comfortable. And I'm glad that I did because I had a good time. I ordered some pizza, got some soda, got some Domino's. I'm going to try to have a picture of that here in this video as well. And it just was a very positive experience. I used Uber to get around. I'm also going to have a code for Uber in this video as well. Uber to get around. And I love Uber. I've been using Uber for like a year, I think now. I'm going to have a code for it. So if you've never used Uber before, I highly recommend it. I'll have a code that you can use here. Also, another thing I would recommend, which I didn't use this particular weekend, but I use on most weekends whenever I'm away and I can order food from places that don't normally deliver. It's called Favor, and Favor basically allows you to order food. Say, for instance, you want something from McDonald's. Favor would have something in there, like an option for you to actually order food from McDonald's, and to go to McDonald's, and then a person will run and grab that, your meal or favor for you, and then come back as a favor, and they'll drop the food off. And I highly recommend Favor as well. There's a discount code that will be in the description box of this video, so that way you can see it. I love it as well. It's like one of my favorite apps that I love to use, especially for food that you really can't normally get delivered to you at home. Yeah, I had a great stay. I just left today. It was simple. It was comfortable. It was like having a home away from home, basically. And so anyone that's on the fence about using Airbnb, I definitely just go ahead and take the plunge, Download the app, create a profile, fill out as much as you can, upload your photo, verify as much information as you can. If you want to pay the $25 or pay the $20 for verification, it's a yearly thing. You can, but I didn't, and I was able to find a place. It just looks good to potential hosts that might be thinking about hosting you, but it's not an absolute thing that you have to do. Message the people that you're going to or that you're planning on trying to stay with if you can first before you try to book. In a lot of cases, it may not allow you to book with this place, a book with a certain place without messaging the host first. But just always try to message the host first and then wait for the response, which it can take up to 24 hours for that person to respond. So that's why I say book in advance. Do not wait to the last minute. Don't wait to the day of, the evening of to try to book. There are places and opportunities where you can, but I wouldn't rely on that method. I would definitely recommend try to do it a day or two or three. I think in my case, I booked 2 days in advance. That way I knew I'd be able to have it. It also gives the host enough time to respond to your initial message that you send before you before you actually try to book, before they say, okay, it's okay for you to book with me. In my town, actually, I was surprised at how many different people actually did Airbnb. And there's different ways you can either do, get a private room where basically you go to someone's house or apartment, you get a room to yourself and maybe a shared living space, and the host could still be there, or another person could also be there as well. You can get a shared room where you actually can share a room with someone if you really, really want to. I guess if you really want to save some money, you can do that. Or you can actually get an entire place. I can see entire houses on Airbnb where people would like rent out their entire house for like $150 for a night, or several $100s for a night. So this could be a great way for someone to make some side income with their own house, and help pay off their mortgage even faster, because people will pay that money if they have it, just to have a house, for a party or an event or whatever it is. But also make sure you do read the guidelines or the guidebook for each particular host or place that you want to stay, so you know what their rules are. In my case, my rules was, I think it was like no smoking, no parties, no events. There was one other thing, I think, and just know the rules before you go to these people's houses and places, because you're going into someone's home, so you want to make sure you respect their home to the utmost. And when you read the rules, you're going to be in the know, so you don't accidentally do something stupid or do something you weren't supposed to do. And so again, I had a really positive experience. Again, it worked out for me to where I got the entire place to myself for only like $39, which was cool because it was a nice place. I got cable, Wi-Fi, washer and dryer thing I could have used if I wanted to. Nice bedroom, super comfy bed. This little cool disco ball thing, which I'll have in this video as well for you to watch and see. In a nice bathroom, closet. It just was a nice place. I was very fortunate to be able to get it for this weekend. It just was a great treat for me. And it was really cheap, in comparison. Instead, if I was someone who was actually paying rent there or something like that. And the neighborhood was actually really nice too. I highly recommend Airbnb. The place that I stayed was, I think it was called the Disco Room. And if you see it, if you're in the Bryan College Station area and you see the disco room, definitely book it. I would highly recommend that place. It's clean, it's comfortable, it's going to have the stuff that you're going to need. In my case, one thing I would recommend though is that they normally give you a list of amenities that each particular place will provide for you once you book it. Go ahead and check those out in full, because some places provide some pretty cool stuff. Like I know one spot I saw actually provided a hot tub, which I never would have guessed it would have provided it for this like apartment place I was looking at potentially staying at. Or they'll provide something like, basics, like AC, essentials like towels, soap, that kind of stuff. Washer, dryer, pool, or it says swimming pool or something like that. And there's a number of things these places can provide you if you just look at the amenities when you're looking out or checking out these places that you might want to stay at. Again, message the host before you try to book, and then check out the amenities and ask the host any questions beforehand before you get there, just so that we can be as knowledgeable about everything as you can. One thing I also would recommend you do too is actually ask the host when the actual check-in and check-out times are, because in my case I only saw the check-in time. I didn't actually see what the check-out time was. Airbnb, the app, said one thing, but when I actually messaged the host, it actually was a lot longer. So in my case, you check in, I could have checked in at 3 p.m. and then the next day I should have been out by 3:30. In the app, it was telling me that when I checked in, I would have to be out by 11. And I was like, okay. So that's why I went ahead and asked the host, and the host was like, hey, just be out by 3:30. That's when checkout time is. And so, cool. So just confirm. Don't be afraid to ask your host. More than likely, they're going to be more than happy to respond. My host was very friendly. His name was Cameron, and that's all the name I have to go with the disco room. He was very responsive to my messages that I had. It just was a good, just really, really worked out. And so I would definitely consider doing Airbnb again. If you want to try Airbnb, go ahead and check out the code that will be provided in this video, as well as the codes that will be in the description box, or a link to that as well. Check out Uber. It's a great way to get around when you finally do book your first Airbnb, so you don't have to drive yourself around if you're going out of town or if you don't have a car. And also, if you want to order food while you're at your Airbnb place, I'd recommend Favor. There'll be a free discount code or a cash credit, or there'll be a free code or credit you can get if you just go to the link or use the code that's down in my description box there and in this video. So I want to thank you for watching. My name is Marvin of Everyday Marvin. I had a great Airbnb experience, and I would recommend it for anyone, couples, families, loners, or just, single people. I definitely would recommend it. So thank you for watching. Again, like and subscribe to my channel, because I'm always making reviews. I'm always talking about something. So you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.